Let's talk about the reality principle. This is something I've been meaning to write a post about, and then, it just gets to the back burner, and I just figure, you know what, I'll just explain it, because, I'm lazy, we'll put it that way. People, here's a different way of approaching it. I've always said I never lose arguments. I've never lost an argument in my life, and the reason isn't because I'm smart or I'm brilliant. It's simply that I refuse to argue anything but the truth. And if you always argue the truth, you will never lose a debate. People get all emotional and excited about debate. I don't. You're either right or you're not. You either have looked up the data and researched it and have the facts, or you don't. You have stipulation, you have theories, you have emotion, all of which is inferior, completely inferior to fact. I don't even know why there's debate teams. It's well, we either have, and I know there's some amorphous philosophical debates that could be had, but especially in the realm of economics and accounting and politics, it's you either know this or you don't. Right? And consequently, if I am proven wrong, but then I immediately switch. I have no emotion, I have no shame, oh God, I was wrong. And just say, oh, well, look, here's the correct data, I had wrong data. And so that's it. Now, it's simplistic, but it's very powerful. If you always argue the truth, you will never lose a debate. But it's also humbling because it doesn't testify to any kind of intelligence you have on your side. It's a policy, it's a moral. Do I follow the truth? Yes, I will never lose a debate. If I want to corrupt facts with thinking, philosophy, feelings, emotion, or political ideology or religion, you're inferior, you're scum. You're not being intellectually honest. Now, the same thing applies to the reality principle. The reality principle, which I've never defined, but I'll try to do it now because I've only had it in mind as a conception, is if you base your decisions in reality, you will be more successful. Conversely, if you don't base your decisions in reality, you will be unsuccessful. And the example I like to give is this. Let's say you're at a cliff. It sheer drop straight down, no water, and just pavement down below. 200-foot cliff, straight down. If you make the decision to not walk off that cliff because you know you're going to fall, that is a decision based in reality. You know that the law of gravity is a law of gravity. It's not the theory of gravity. It's not the hypothesis of gravity. It's the law of gravity. If you're an idiot, you say, "Well, I don't believe in the law of gravity. That's a white male-centric, Eurocentric, patriarchy thing that is oppressing us," and you decide to walk off the cliff. Well, you've now based your decision not in reality, and you suffer the consequences. Now, that's a very literal example, but where it applies more into everybody's day-to-day life is where we let emotion get in the way of our decisions, where it clouds our judgment as to what reality is, because our ego cannot suffer what reality is. For example, think about this. Take a look at the black community. I'm not picking on blacks. I'm trying to help blacks. If you want to be honest about it, step back and think of what I'm trying to do, okay? Why is the black community in dead last place, bar some Indian reservations, in terms of every economic or sociological measurement? Poverty, standards of living, income, employment. Why are they in dead last place? The ego blurs your thinking and says it's because of racism, it's because of discrimination, right? And if you imagine a big target, like a target sign, there's like the outer rim, maybe an inner rim, and then like the bullseye. When that arrow is being shot, oh, it's racism, you missed the target. You're way off from the target. So the solution then, based on that erroneous target, or that shot, is that we need more affirmative action, blah, 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 all the other leftist Democrat solutions that result in Detroit. If you fire another arrow, and this time take ego and emotion and what you prefer it to be, if you face reality, face truth, one of the bullseyes would be 70% of kids in the black community are born out of wedlock. Now, if you base policies and decisions on that, it's now being based in reality. This isn't to say that there isn't some elements of discrimination, or Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel down in Alabama, who hates blacks because back in the Confederacy, 170 years ago, his great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy fought the horrible Yanks and whatever. So that idiot, okay, fine, maybe he's good to discriminate, but a much more pressing and much more real cause of blacks' poverty and lower standards of living is out-of-wedlock births. There's other things, crime. If they do go to college, it's usually in something worthless. There's also the element of I don't know, we got to come up with something. Maybe somebody's come up with a term for this, but where everyone wants to become a rap star or a singer or a celebrity or a professional athlete, when only 1 in 19,000 people become a professional athlete, and you waste your youth training for something that just isn't going to materialize. So that one, you'll always have the one LeBron James, but for every LeBron James, there's 18,999 kids who didn't make it, and now they got, well, what do we do? When they could have gone into engineering or something like that. Now, all these are highly politically incorrect, but political correctness is nothing more than emotions and brainwashing getting in the way to protect ego. Right? And the price that people pay maybe is not as severe as somebody walking off the cliff, but it's a pretty steep price that the black community pays. They got Detroit, they suffer the worst standards of living, and they never get out of it. And I guess another horrible cost, a horrible price, is they don't know why. Even their guy, Barack Obama's in office, and you got your Peggy Joseph thinking she ain't going to pay her mortgage no more, or gas or anything like that, and black standards of living have gone down relative to whites under Barack Obama. Now, there are other reasons for that, but I gotta wonder at times, like, boy, that must be incredibly frustrating. Like, you feel powerless and helpless, like nothing is working. How come this isn't working? Well, we just need more of the same, more of the same. When do you wake up and say, our current treatment of this problem is not working, it's failing? So generations now, and not to mention communities, have been destroyed because we failed to diagnose, because we refuse to adhere to the reality principle. Another one where emotions and feelings get in the way of people's success. Let's talk about, it's fat shaming week. Okay, there's fat acceptance, we're countering, because frankly, men don't like looking at fat chicks. All right, now that's the reality principle. Men don't like fat chicks. Don't send me, well, there's chubby chase. Shut up. I know. There's chubby chase. We got it. Okay, all 0.01% of you, along with the people who find pregnant women pretty. Right? But applying the reality principle to fat shaming, the vast majority of men do not find obese women attractive, and the vast majority of women do not find obese men attractive. Okay? That's the reality. So the truth is, what is the solution? Well, according to the reality principle, it would be to lose weight. But again, people's egos and emotions get in the way, so much to the point that it's better to protect the ego than to enjoy an enjoyable life or have a better life. So this is why you have, fat acceptance movements. This is why you have women, I'm big and beautiful, and not to mention an assault on what is genetic programming in males, that you are shallow for liking skinny women with big boobs, or trim women, or in-shape women. I know there's some men who like a little bit of curves. But think to what extent, to what measures, to what lengths women will go, especially feminists, to deny the simple reality. Now, they make their decisions based on what they'd like it to be. They've fired their arrow, it's way off the mark, it is nowhere near the bullseye. What's the consequence? Well, look at older feminists. Are any of them happy? Are any of them beautiful? Are any of them got like families? Not to say this is the only thing to live for, but ask yourself, do you want to become that? Now, some of them, yeah, maybe they like that level. I'm not, okay, fine, all 2% of them, but deep down inside, just drive. This is why I play the ugly leftist game, and I'm not joking about this, kids. Drive down the highway, look for people with thermal bumper stickers, look into the window, and see if they're one ugly, two smiling. And yeah, everyone's, I'm not joking, less than 10%, I'd say about 5% in time, 1 out of 20, people are smiling and they're good looking. The remainder of the time they are not smiling, they are not good looking. Right? Now, let's take their argument out of it, because I know the immediate reaction is going to be, well, we're fine. For those of you that want to attain or wish to adhere to intellectual honesty, do they really look happy? Are they good looking? Are these people you'd like to hang out with? There's a great video, a YouTube video I linked to. It's called Privilege. And it goes through all the different white privilege, male privilege, trans privilege, and it gets so ludicrous as to all the different, ability privilege, because if you aren't handicapped, you're ability privileged. It goes to show you to just what extents and lengths these people will go to protect their egos and their emotions. But if you also look at it, you'll see that they're incredibly ugly. They are uglier than sin. And I'm not saying that as a derogatory slam, I'm saying it because it's factually true. They're just ugly. Again, by my evil patriarchal standards, otherwise called reality. So the reality principle, especially for you young kids out there, let's take something a little more practical. You're going to want to go and major in what your heart and what your parents told you, follow your heart and the money, follow all that other bullshit. All right? And you're going to think that you're going to beat the labor market, that $18,000 a year starting salary for people who have degrees in art history and the 85% unemployment rate, that's not going to apply to you. That's going to be the 15%. That's your emotions. That's your ego getting in the way. That's pride, son. Pride getting in the way. Anyone know where that's from? Great movie, by the way. Walked out of that movie, actually, when I saw it in the theaters for the first time, because I did not appreciate it at the time. But that is your natural, default, human instinct to protect your ego, protect your feelings, protect your emotion, and a desire to get an easy way out that is just going to make life actually much harder in the real world. The bullseye is chemical engineering. The bullseye is electrical engineering. The bullseye is the trades. That's reality. Now you can base your decision in reality, or you can base your decision in ideology or a utopian ideal. One is going to result in a success where you start at $60,000 in some oil rig. The other is going to result in you working at a barista, or as a barista, earning $8 an hour with $120,000 in debt. And what's really interesting is, look if you dare criticize these people with their master's degree in some worthless liberal arts. Oh, the emotion. They invested so much time and money and effort and labor. Easy labor, I might add. It wasn't that hard, so that's why they chose it. But man, they'll go to the floor, they'll go to the ends of the earth. They will walk off that cliff to defend it. And not only are you financially crippled, look at how mentally crippled you are now because you swallowed it whole. So it really is up to you people. I don't care. I'm enjoying the decline. I have no faith in most people's abilities, the majority of the population's ability to start making wise decisions based on reality. I really don't. But for those of you willing to listen, especially you younger people, the reality principle should be a guiding principle in your life. Just like, I only argue the truth. It's a very simple principle. Are you going to base your decisions in reality? If you are, good. You're going to have much more success. And not all decisions are easy. Yeah, it's much easier to go major in chocolate than it is chemistry. But if you make those decisions, you make those hard decisions, you will have a better life for it. That's all I got. Toodles.